Hey everybody, this is Darkbolt YT coming at you with a small little video. Just wanted to show off a new program that I got. It is early access on Steam. It is called Dungeon Alchemist. Now, this is probably one of the best, if not the best, D&D map building tools that I have ever seen. It's very simple. As you can see here, beautiful graphics. We are actually going to show off this first. So you can make a new map. You can do both print or digital. Now, doing it in print, of course, means you'll be able to actually print off your map and put it on a physical table in the real world for your players to use. Really cool is that you can also do digital. Now, from what I'm understanding, the digital one can actually be uploaded to a site like Roll20 and actually used as a map for your campaigns on Roll20. You can do whatever width or height you want. 21 by 14 is just the standard size. As you can see, it does say expandable grid. We'll get to that later. With it being early access, it doesn't have too much in the way of preset things. You have dark parchment, forest, and grasslands. Let's just go ahead and do forest. You can do your elevations. You have flat hills, fords, mountains, floodplains, ravines, and canyons. Let's just go ahead and kind of do hills. Vegetation, you have broadleaf forest, evergreen forest, broadleaf clearing, and evergreen clearing. Now, these do change based on what terrains you pick. So the vegetation for grasslands is meadow or steppe. So let's just do forest. Let's do an evergreen forest. Water is pretty much the same across either terrain you pick. So you have no water, river, lake, lakeside, and island. Let's do a lakeside. And we'll go ahead and hit create. And as you can see, it just completely made a new map for us with a bunch of different trees, stones, and everything else. Now, getting into the really cool thing about this, you can choose through all of these so far. Sorry about that. Again, early access, I'm sure this is going to increase as time goes by. Right now you have Alchemist Laboratory, Castle, Crypt, Festive, Mansion, Tavern, and Village. Now, the really cool thing is each one of these options on the left has different options on the right. So if we go to Alchemist Laboratory, you'll see we have random, dissection room, laboratory, library, and storage. Now, if you go to Castle, you'll see it has armory, barracks, bedroom, brewery, etc., etc. Same for the Crypt. Festive, right now, it's just a gingerbread house. They have mansion, tavern, and village. Now, say you're up in the hills by a lake, and there's just a small little tavern for wayward travelers. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the edge of the map, and we're going to make a great hall. Now, the really interesting thing about this, and you can see it especially if I zoom in, is you'll see that it's actually got a grid. Now, each grid is the standard D&D 5 feet. So one grid is 5 feet, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So this right here is a 25 by 25 feet area. So if we click the check mark, it's going to get rid of the trees, and it just made a great hall. Now, the interesting thing about this is, because I have this AI on, it put all these objects in here. So if I turn AI off, and I were to say grab a brewery and just put another 25 by 25 over here, without the AI on, it just leaves the room empty. So if we turn it back on and replace it, it's going to populate it. Now, one really cool thing is this is an expandable map, if you remember whenever we created it. So what that means is this is our Great Hall. Well, maybe the Great Hall's too small, and I want to expand it. You can see I'm going off the map right now. But if I build it, it's going to actually increase your map size, which is really cool, because it means if you ever are like, oh no, I've run out of space, well, no, you haven't. It's an expandable map. You can just add on to it. Now, let's just put a small hallway here. let's put a, say, a latrine here, and let's add a pantry here. Well, if I do that, it's going to get rid of the latrine. However, I can do that and then do that, and it'll make our pantry. Now, of course, taverns have to have bedrooms, so let's make a couple of bedrooms. And there you go. Now, one thing to note is the fact that it has put the doors inside the bedrooms moving that way. However, it does have one door here coming out into here, and it's also got one in here coming into here. Now, it's not perfect. As you can see, these two are bedrooms, but there's actually no bed in it. However, if we make another one, we can cycle through preset options. I don't think it's going to do a bed because it's, well, nope, there it did. So even though it's got that door there, it did finally make a bed. So you can cycle through this and it'll change the walls, the flooring, and everything else while you do this. Now, if you don't like the door placements, the easiest way to do it is click on it and click the trash can. Completely gets rid of it. Click on it, click the trash can. Completely gets rid of it. Of course, now we really have no way into the bedrooms, right? Well, let's go ahead and get rid of the doors. And let's just draw another hallway. Now, one thing I am doing is I'm moving the map by holding down the right mouse button. And maybe we'll just move it around like that. So we can do that. Then we come down here and we click the check mark. And it's going to make a hallway all the way around. And as you can see, it put a door there, 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 and it even added stairs for a second floor and a hatch that you can only assume goes down into the basement. Now, I will say one thing that I do hope they add in the future, because like I said, it is early access right now, is the ability to add more floors to a building without actually having to build it on your map as a separate place. Because right now you're basically stuck with one floor. So say if I wanted to have the second floor, and it should just say another long hallway. What it's going to do is it's going to just make more map here. And that's not really something we want now, is it? I mean, it's a small thing, but it'd be nice just to, you know, be able to just change your level essentially and build on something that's pre-existing. How's it doing that? There we go. So you can do it this way. It does kind of seem a little bit weird, I guess, but I know a lot of the hand-drawn maps have it this way because you can't really, you know, hear it with a hand-drawn map. But it would still really be cool to be able to do that later on. So, and let's say there's a, nope. Let's say there's actually, let's just put a small little latrine there, and that way the guests staying in the tavern have a place to stay. How about that? But yeah, there you go. There would be like a second floor for sleeping quarters and everything, as well as just a few on the thing. Now, really cool is you can, if you don't want to auto-populate it, you can put your own items. They have a huge list. This here is strictly food. And then you have drink, and then you have like the cutlery and things like that. You have different paintings, rugs, shields for the walls, all kinds of statues, different magical things. Not a lot, but a fair few. Now, really cool is it's very easy for you to come in here, place like stone arches or fences or, you know, cell doors, things like that. They have a couple of double door options, a ton of single door options. Same thing with the windows, have a ton of different options. All of these are stone, and then you have a bunch of different wood ones. You have singles and doubles, and even like really wide ones. You can just kind of move over here. You can place walls and stuff manually if you want to. So say like I've got this hedge, and it really doesn't want to work for me. Oh, there we go. Had to be inside the building. But it's that easy, and then you can click on it to remove it. Or say you want to change the whole thing all at once. You can do that by, doing all of that, and it'll change the entire wall. You also have half walls, you have fences, things like that. Now, they have not a ton of floor options, but for the time being, they're not bad. And they are definitely medieval. So they got a bunch of different stones and things, tiles and what have you. And then, of course, they have not quite as many wood options, but, they're there. One thing that I really, really love is actually the environment settings. Now, the environment settings will let you actually change the time of day. So sunrise, sunset, midday, and then night. Now, you can take this a step further and say, well, you know what? We have a blue moon actually here, and we can click on this and you'll see it'll kind of just change the tint a little bit. But say it's like really, really close to our world. So it's nighttime, but you see it's putting out all this beautiful light. Or maybe we have a green moon, and you can see it changes the tint, not a super amount, but it does change the tint. You can really notice it on purple. But of course, you can change the brightness of it, and you'll see the shadows changing as well. And then this will actually let you position which side basically your moon or your light or whatever would be coming from. So it's really cool. It's a lot of fun to play around with, that's for certain. Now, one really cool thing, you can kind of see it's put the door right there. So kind of need a little bit of a expansion of the map. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so I think in order to do this, you actually do have to draw the room. It'd be nice to be able to expand it without having to draw the room, but it's, not hard to do. So we can do that, and then we can actually come up here, and either we can manually draw and delete, or we can go to Edit Room, click on it, and you can actually change the theme and the style here, and you can refresh it, which is a little bit easier way to do it than drawing the bedroom over and over again. You can edit the room shape, or you can delete it. Now, we have our door right there by that tree. Well, we don't really want that tree to be in our way, so we can actually grab the tree and we can move it, or we can delete it. Another option is whenever you click on any object, you can click on this and it will copy it. Now, let's say there's a lot of foot traffic here actually from the water to the tavern. So maybe we just want a slightly little muddy thing going on here. And then we just want to continue that up through here to the door. Now, if you had say another like land connection or something, you could put in a bridge, or we could put in a water wheel if we wanted to, you know, and then we can actually rotate it, move it kind of where we want it to go. There's all different kinds of options in this. They're a lot of fun to play around with. As you can see, they actually have like water wells and things like that. Different columns, all kinds of woodworking stuff, platforms. Already saw bridges. They have different fireplaces or cooking pits and stuff. And one really cool thing that I actually really like is let me get off the water well. If we were actually to come here and grab the fire pit and let's just place it down over here, you'll see that the cow or pig, it's a pig. The pig is actually rotating. And I mean, the attention to detail on this is great. Obviously, the handle would have to be accessible, so that's kind of... But yeah, the detail is amazing. I mean, the fact that you can zoom in and you can see, the candle flame flickering is just so cool. Now, you do have, and I kind of did it without meaning to, you can hold down the middle mouse button and you can change your camera to get more of a 3D feel for this. And in doing so, you'll actually see, the different little areas where there's hills and whatnot. But if you come up here into the upper right, you can click that and it'll actually move you into a top-down view. So, but that's pretty much it for now. I'm very interested to see how they're going to continue with this and what new features they'll come out with, what different assets and styles they'll have in the future. I mean, obviously, if we're already getting festive and we have a gingerbread house, I would assume that the next logical step would be for us to maybe eventually have some kind of Halloween themed one. And I mean, just what they have right now for the few that they do have, you see, Castle just has all kinds of stuff. But it's for it being in early access, they've actually given people quite a lot of content, in my opinion. So, yeah. One last thing before we do wrap this up. So, if you have random selected on any of these, let's go with village. Say there's a small village up here in the mountain by this massive tavern. So if you have random selected, what it will do is actually just take any of these and put them down randomly. So say as a dungeon master, your players have suddenly decided, hey, we're gonna break into this small village and we're gonna steal from all these people. And it's like, well, I need some buildings. I don't have a map prepared for that. Well, guess what? You can make a very, very quick one. Honestly, it's been, what, 20 minutes since I started recording this, 19 minutes. And I've already made a 2-floor tavern, and I've made a small little... I mean, this is random, obviously, but it made what looks like 2 town squares and some other stuff. Let's switch back to this view. And I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it is definitely really, really cool. So yeah, it is on Steam right now, early access. At the time of recording this, I spent $45 on it. Honestly, just with what they have right now in early access, I think this is worth it. My biggest fear is that they will probably lock some of this behind microtransactions in the future, which I really hope not. You know, let us purchase the game, and if you want to give us content, you know, awesome. If not, let us upload and make our own. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.